All right. If you're watching this, it means that you have clicked on a spam link that I sent you, or maybe that I posted to Instagram. In any event, it means that you probably know me and have some interest in me, and so I thank you for tuning in. This is basically to kick off this new channel that I've created on YouTube. It's called PH Doozy. And this channel has at least two purposes. The first is to allow people who have some reason to be interested in me to hear from me and to kind of, I guess, maintain some sense of connection with me, because I'm not really on other forms of social media. And so beyond actually getting together and or staying connected limitedly over various sort of chat types of messaging platforms. Beyond that, if you want to have any kind of sense of knowing what's up with me, this is probably going to be the best place to get it, because I don't post on Facebook, and I occasionally do a live stream on Instagram when I go for a run, but those don't hang around and most people don't see them. So anyway, the point of this channel is to allow people to continue to kind of know what's going on with me that might happen to be interested. However, the second purpose, and perhaps the more important one, given the timing and sort of the impetus for creating this YouTube channel, is in addition to staying connected to me, this channel is also intended to provide a way for me to avoid becoming, what's the right word? Well, it's to provide a way for me to avoid becoming insulated and isolated as I continue to pursue my PhD in biblical studies. And so basically, the reason I say that is because right now I'm just finished my coursework in the PhD program, and that was a very invigorating time. And I had thought actually at the beginning of the PhD that I should make a channel like this and sort of track my journey. For those that are interested, again, sort of in line with the first reason I've stated for creating this channel. But I didn't do it for a variety of reasons, and so it might seem odd to suddenly in the middle of my PhD program be having a channel that will in some sense function kind of like a video diary of my experience and development as a scholar, as an academic in the field of biblical studies. But the reason why I'm doing it now actually is precisely because of the point at which I find myself in the program. Because having finished coursework, I am no longer going to be guaranteed any human interaction in the context of my studies. So, of course, I have lots of human interaction with, first and foremost, my wife Melissa and my kids, Lydia, Felicity, and Teresa. And so that's awesome, and that keeps me anchored in the real world in some sense, and in things in life that are interesting and, life-giving and valuable and worthwhile to pursue in a way sort of beyond and outside of my academic pursuits. But when it comes to my sort of intellectual development, what I'm learning, what I'm wrestling with, what I'm trying to study, what I'm trying to sort out in my own thinking, and as I'm trying to sort of prepare for what I believe to be my calling, which is to be an educator of the church, though I don't know exactly the form that will take, as I think about preparing for, outputting everything that I'm doing now at some point to others and making something, valuable and contributory in the life of the church. So as I think about all of that, my development, my calling, where it's all going, and I think about that happening in a context that is exclusively inside my own brain. It just concerns me greatly, because I don't think that's the way we were meant to develop our sort of intellectual life. I don't think that's principally the way, or at least exclusively the way, that we were meant to come to know and understand things about the Bible or about God. I think there's supposed to be some kind of a communal dimension. Now, a broadcast type of a video is probably not exactly community, right? So of course I'm very glad to continue to be involved in my church and to participate in things there that do align with my kind of development and my learning and all of that. And so that's great, and I want to continue to do that. But the point is, as I finish my coursework and head into this new phase, which right now involves literally just reading 45 books over the summer, and then taking a test about them, and then eventually defending that in the fall with a sort of an oral interview style defense. That's the current stage, and then I'll be moving into writing a dissertation, which again will be a lot of reading and research on my own and writing about it, and then only finally culminating with one conversation after some antagonists have read it and then sit down with me to try to see if I'm really up to snuff. So I get this one conversation at the end, which is kind of a hostile conversation, where I get to try to articulate verbally things that I've been thinking and writing about. Anyway, so to me, that just doesn't seem like a recipe for a good time, I guess, is the long and the short of it. And I feel like there's got to be some way, and to me, this channel is it, to track my development, to have a way to express verbally and kind of, defend things as I'm thinking and working through them. And hopefully to do it in a way that's valuable and actually aligns with my calling to be an educator of the church, that people who watch this channel would also gain some kind of benefit, some kind of insight, some kind of interest in knowledge, and that it would be good for people that way as well. So I guess what you can prepare yourself for if you decide to tune in to this channel on YouTube, which I'm assuming is mostly going to be people who actually know me in real life and want to kind of, see some part of this journey that I'm on in a way that you're not going to see in a casual conversation that we might have somewhere or in the normal context of our relationships that we all carry on. So if you decide to tune in, then what you should expect to see is, perhaps a little bit of ranting at times about things that happen to PhD students or that happen in the context of PhD studies, particularly in Bible or theology, that might just be interesting to know about because most people don't get the chance to pursue this kind of thing. So it'll be a bit documentary, I guess, in that sense. You can also prepare yourself to receive educational content. There will be times, I think, and I've had this experience lots, when I'm working through something or reading a book and it just seems like, wow, people really should know about this. There's some interesting concepts here. And it's like 99.9% of people are not going to go and do a PhD and have to read, Walter Brueggemann's 750-page Old Testament theology. And yet there he is. He wrote this thing and he has things to say and it's very interesting. And in fact, most PhD students probably aren't even going to read him. So then it's like, wow, but it's interesting. And wouldn't it be nice if somebody, beyond the few that got required to read his book, had some exposure to his ideas, and not just in a really sort of the indirect way in which some of these heavyweight thinkers affect general discourse within the Christian community or the world community more broadly. So, so there'll be some educational content. Maybe I'll do a little summary of things I'm finding really interesting and informative and helpful to think about. And finally, what you can expect to see a lot of, I think, on this channel is me reflecting on my own kind of, I guess you could say, intellectual, but even more than that, spiritual development. Because I've been in school now for 9 years, and from beginning to end, it's just been a long journey of spiritual progress as I've just been apprehended in increasing measure by the God of the gospel, who really remains on one level unknowable, and yet in a paradoxical way is standing in a posture of constant invitation to be known. And so as I pursue that in my own academic way of doing it, there's definitely a personal and spiritual growth component that has accompanied that development right from the beginning. And so you can expect to hear accounts, stories, thoughts, musings that are part of that dimension of my journey in the PhD program that I'm in. So I guess in the end, this channel is an outlet for me. And for those of you who, for some reason, have an interest in me beyond what you already might be getting from me in other contexts, then you'll be able to tune into this channel and enjoy getting some additional content on the life and experience of this particular PhD student in Bible and theology. So I guess what I should say in conclusion is, because of the way YouTube works, you will not know that I'm posting a video if you are not set up to know. So in the initial stages, I will certainly be posting links to my videos on my Instagram account, although that account is very rudimentary and I don't even have that many people on it. So I'll be posting them there. I will, in the case of this video, you will have received a link by some means if I have identified you as a person in my life who might have an interest in subscribing to this channel. But beyond that, and maybe for the next couple videos, I might do a similar sort of spamming, but I don't want to keep that up. And so basically what you need to do if you want to be connected to this and to have access and exposure to what I'm doing on this channel, then you need to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and then you need to turn on, and this is probably the most important part beyond subscribing, you've got to turn on the notification bell, because if that's not on, you won't actually get notified unless you go and look at your videos of your subscribed channels. But if you turn on the notification bell, then anytime I make a video, it will send you a notification through YouTube, however you set that up. I know there's different ways you can have it send you an email or whatever. So if you do that, then you'll get notified anytime I post one of my videos to this channel. And then I guess we'll just see as time goes on. You might decide that you're bored, that you're not interested in the types of dimensions of my life that I'm sharing on here. And you could certainly turn that off in the long run and not participate in that way. But I'm just saying, at the outset, if you want to see the next video that I post, for example, which will be obviously quite different from this one, which is really introductory about what I'm doing. If you want to see the next one, then you need to subscribe and put the bell, click the bell icon on the channel page so that you find out when the videos come. Anyways, so all of that is to say, in summary, thanks for watching this, if you're still watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that what I have said piques your interest, and that there will be at least a few people with whom I can share some of this journey, so that I don't, and again I really want to stress this, so that I don't simply for the next 2 years at least move into the inside of my brain and stay there by myself thinking thoughts alone. It's just, to me, doesn't seem like a pleasant or very exciting way to proceed. Anyway.